Good morning. I'm Amber Walton, a certified healthcare simulation educator. Today I'd like to share with you my plan for ensuring high-quality simulated patient feedback in medical education simulations. First, some context. What is a standardized or simulated patient, also known as an SP? An SP is a healthy person paid as a temporary as-needed employee. SPs are trained to portray the personal history, physical symptoms, emotional characteristics, and everyday concerns of an actual patient. Simulated patient educators, or SPEs, are specialists in coaching or training SPs. The SPE schedules SPs to interact with learners in a realistic simulation of a patient interview and physical exam. After the encounter, the learner documents the visit outside the exam room, and the SP stays inside the exam room to complete a computerized assessment and separate feedback form. Encounters are almost always video recorded by inconspicuous cameras and microphones in the exam room. One of the most important features of an SP learner simulation is that the SP is trained to provide constructive feedback from the patient's unique perspective. Faculty, staff, peers, these people cannot inform the learner what it felt like to be their patient. Only the SP can speak authentically from the patient's perspective. Defining high-quality SP feedback might be organized into 4 tenets: working as an ally with the learner, basing feedback on specific, observable behaviors, and linking that to how it made the patient feel, not overwhelming the learner with too much feedback in one session, and using language that does not purport to evaluate or judge the learner. Feedback can take many forms, but the basic formula is this: I felt, feeling word, when you, observable behavior. For example, I felt understood when you looked me in the eye, nodded your head, and said, I think I understand what you're telling me. Or, I felt belittled when you rolled your eyes and said, aren't you a little old to still be smoking cigarettes? The performance problem I'd like to address today relates to analysis of SP feedback after a high-stakes exam at a New York State medical university. All SPs who were hired for this exam had previously undergone a 3-hour workshop about written and verbal feedback, as well as 6 hours of training on the specific character they would portray in the clinical skills exam. This training also included a refresher training on appropriate feedback skills. 165 learners encountered 10 different cases with a staff of approximately 40 SPs. Every SP wrote feedback immediately after the encounter. This means that 1,650 feedback forms were completed. The feedback form consisted of 2 questions. What did the student do well in this encounter? And what suggestions for improvement do you have for this student? In total, 3,300 SP feedback entries were analyzed by 2 SPEs. The analysis revealed that nearly 50% of SP feedback did not follow the previously trained standards. The SP program needs for 100% of SP feedback to follow the agreed upon standards. Why is it important for 100% of SP feedback to follow the guidelines? The 2 SPEs hypothesize that the poor performance is widespread across all other educational projects. The pool of SPs is roughly 120 temporary as-needed employees. Considering the average number of learners per year who receive feedback from SPs is around 1,500, and the average number of SP encounters per learner is around 12 per year, the total number of encounters per year is 18,000. If 50% of the SP feedback did not follow the guidelines for quality feedback, the annual number of encounters in which poor or harmful feedback is delivered to learners would tally close to 9,000. Negative effects from poor feedback could have ramifications on learner performance throughout their career, and by extension, their potential patient populations in the hundreds of thousands. Thomas Gilbert's 1996 Behavior Engineering Model, or BEM, is a good fit to help identify our SP feedback performance problem. 6 components are grouped into 2 groups of environmental supports and the individual performer's repertoire of behavior, and then further grouped by information, instrumentation, and motivation. Populating each component with the front-end analysis questions that must be investigated helps organize the analysis. Each question is assigned a code. For example, a data question would be coded D01. What type of question might go in this box? D01 is, how are SPs currently trained on feedback skills? In the resources box, R01 is, what tools or forms do SPs use when delivering feedback to a learner? I01 in the incentives box is, does the SPE make clear the importance of high-quality SP feedback? In the individual domain, one question for knowledge, K01, is, do all SPs have a clear understanding about the requirements of giving high-quality feedback? Capacity, C01, is, what environmental barriers might impede SPs executing quality feedback discussions? And motives, M01, is, how do SPs know when their feedback was good or exceptional? Let's take a closer look at one domain, data. These questions are included. How are SPs currently trained on feedback skills? Does this align with the standards in the field? Which SPs are selected for this training? How are SPs given practice with feedback skills? What feedback is given to SPs about their feedback skills? Who analyzes SP performance? Who delivers feedback to SPs about their feedback performance? And what remediation activities do SPs undergo to improve their feedback skills? With each component fully populated, we can now start analyzing data to answer every question. Which methods can we use to collect and analyze data? First, data that is already in existence and is accessible to the investigator must be analyzed. Some examples of the documents to review are the syllabus for the 3-hour SP feedback workshop, SP performance evaluations or written feedback about SP performance, and the SP employee handbook and/or SP program policies and procedures documents. Another method of data collection is observation. Since all SP learner encounters are video recorded, the analyst may observe the encounter live, in real time, using the video feed in the monitor room, as shown in this photo. Alternately, all of the previous recorded videos are also accessible for the analyst to review. The SPEs may need to help the analyst narrow the focus of which videos to watch, since 1,650 videos were recorded during the clinical skills exam. In addition to video review, another technique would be to conduct a think aloud protocol with an SP. In this method, both the analyst and the SP watch the previously recorded video of that SP interacting with a learner, and the SP's printed completed feedback form in front of both the SP and an analyst. The analyst pauses the video at different points to ask the SP their observations about what learner behaviors prompted them to write different parts of their feedback. While not exactly a classic think aloud protocol, which would usually be done while the SP is actively engaged in composing feedback in real time, this post-encounter feedback analysis can help the analyst understand why the SP decided to include or omit specific feedback, or to word their feedback in a particular way. Questions mostly from the knowledge, capacity, and motives domains might best be captured with observation. Since SPs are accustomed to completing computerized checklists, it will not be difficult to conduct a survey of SPs to answer some of our analysis questions. Ensuring that the survey participants remain anonymous will help capture SPs' true feelings. Paper copies may also be provided in the SP training room. Many of the questions within the knowledge, capacity, and motivation domains may be answered via survey. Structured one-on-one interviews, group interviews, and focus groups will help to answer almost all of the questions in the BEM chart. Sensitivity to confidentiality, respect for all stakeholders, and ensuring a space safe enough during interviews will be necessary to help ensure participants' candid thoughts. Collected data is arranged in a comprehensive chart of proposed causes and proposed solutions. Let's look at some of the proposed causes using the BEM chart examples. DO1, how are SPs currently trained on SP feedback skills, indicated that the 3-hour workshop included too much didactic information and not enough chances to practice. The focus was on poorly written feedback and not good feedback. The training group was so large that individual attention could not be paid to each attendee. R01, what tools or forums do SPs use when delivering feedback to a learner, indicated 3 different job aids: the SP feedback skills handout, the feeling words document, and the workshop handouts, almost all of which contained outdated information. I01, does the SP make clear the importance of high-quality SP feedback, indicated that mixed messages have been given to SPs by the program director, like, you don't have to follow this format if you don't want to. Salacious examples of inappropriate feedback, like, your turban was a turnoff, are often discussed as a group, but high-quality feedback is rarely discussed. K01, do all SPs have a clear understanding about the requirements of giving high-quality feedback, indicated that no, not all SPs had completed the feedback training workshop. Several SPs noted that the SP feedback prompts, what did the student do well, and what suggestions for improvement do you have for the student, do not lend themselves to be answered using the I felt blank when you blank format. When they suggested alternatives, they were rebuffed by the program director. C01, what environmental barriers might impede SPs executing quality feedback discussions, listed inadequate time for formulating and composing feedback, computer technical problems, and a culture of unclear standards and policies, and a lack of individual performance feedback. M01, how do SPs know when their feedback was good, indicated that they don't know. Fewer than 10% of SPs reported that they had ever been given feedback on their feedback skills, and of those who did receive feedback, no specific examples were given. Collected data is arranged in a comprehensive chart of proposed causes and proposed solutions. Let's now look at some of the proposed solutions. The 3-hour didactic has proven to be ineffective, so smaller, collaborative groups should be used for future feedback training. Real examples of SPs' actual feedback from prior encounters must be used so individual SPs understand their current and desired performance. For resources, tools and forms need to be updated and standardized. Laminated job aids can be hidden inside the exam room so they're accessible to all SPs all of the time. Annual feedback training must review the job aids so SPs are already familiar with them when it's time to compose feedback. Under incentives, regular feedback training must include the context for SP feedback and the implications of poor quality feedback on learners and their future patient populations. Inclusion of learner testimonials about the impact of high quality feedback may help SPs understand its importance. Under knowledge, consistent annual training and individual SP performance evaluation must be a focus of the SP program's efforts. Veteran SPs with a proven history of high-quality performance may be recruited, trained, and compensated to assist the SP program with these efforts. All SPs, regardless of their experience, must undergo training and receive specific, individualized feedback on their performance. Under capacity, we need to ensure that adequate time for feedback writing and discussions and providing paper backups in case of technical errors, designate program policies and procedures, and ensure all stakeholders understand the policies and procedures, and ensure that individual SP performance evaluations are conducted annually. And under motives, consistent feedback must be given to all SPs, including written examples of their feedback and explanations about what made it excellent. Performance evaluation will help accomplish this. In conclusion, by following this front-end analysis plan, the SP program can confidently pinpoint a comprehensive list of environmental and individual factors causing the SP feedback performance problem. Thorough investigation using this plan will identify the possible causes and potential solutions to close this gap. Thank you for your time and attention. I am grateful for your feedback.